What's up, everybody? This is Danny Thompson for AroundTheAssociation.com, and this is the Around the Association Open Night Edition podcast that's coming to you actually Wednesday morning. We are back with the daily podcast going forward every single night after the NBA season, Monday through Friday. For the next 15 or so minutes, we're going to talk about everything you missed in last night's action, as well as going over some of the things that you might have noticed and also things that are going on tonight in the NBA. Well, opening night's now in the books, and both games last night on TNT were actually really, really good games. If you missed both of them last night in Toronto, you had the Raptors raising the banners and also raising their game in the overtime session as they took care of the New Orleans Pelicans 130-122 in overtime. And in the late game, the LA Clippers take round one of the Battle of LA by a 113-103 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. So before we deep dive into both of those, I want everybody to follow me on Twitter at Danny3 Thompson. That's DANNY, the number 3, THOMPSON on Twitter. Follow Around the Association online at www.aroundtheassociation.com, as well as the Facebook page, and check me out on Twitter as well too, and Instagram. So before we get into all this, I want to say thank you to everybody for sticking with us throughout the podcast, throughout the summer. We're back now, and it's going to be daily. And like I said, we're continuing this going forward. So, speaking on going forward, the Toronto Raptors went forward with receiving their championship rings last night, unveiling the banner. And even though the Raptors are missing Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, who are off doing good, actually big things, as we saw later on that night in Los Angeles, the Raptors figured out how to win again, and with a different starting lineup than last year because of the insertion of Fred VanVleet in the starting lineup. Pascal Siakam got a huge extension, which was the max that he received officially on Monday, and Kyle Lowry just figuring out ways to show up. The Raptors withstood everything the Pelicans had to offer last night and won by 8 points in overtime. The big three, I'm going to say, for the Raptors, VanVleet, Siakam, and Kyle Lowry combined for 90 points in the game. VanVleet had a career-high 34 points, and Siakam, before fouling out, had 34 points and 18 rebounds. Both of them played in dominating fashion last night. VanVleet was just getting to the rim, like he did in the finals last year, knocking down three-pointers and knocked down 5 of them. Siakam got to a little slow start shooting the basketball, but he picked up his game late. And really, those 34 points and 18 rebounds was a lot of because of the fact of the Pelicans didn't have Zion Williamson in the lineup last night, which allowed Siakam to really do damage on the boards. In a lineup last night that kind of featured 3 guards, you say 3 guards in the lineup for the Pelicans last night, Lonzo Ball, JJ Redick, and Drew Holiday, that allowed Brandon Ingram to play the power forward position, which allowed Siakam to go to work early. I think he had 16 points and 9 rebounds by the half last night, and you can tell he was getting second chance opportunities, creating offensive rebounds, and in a rotation that you saw Alvin Gentry play literally 12 guys last night, which is something kind of unheard of. All 12 guys in his team played 11 or 12 more minutes per person. So you saw different bodies going in and out of the lineup last night, but the real consistency was keeping Siakam off the boards, which they could not do. The Raptors went down to an 8-man rotation. You saw everybody, most of the main guys played last night for the Raptors that were a part of the championship team, and pretty much everybody contributed. Lowry got off to a slow start, but he finished with his 22 points in the game. And really, it was a lot of Siakam left, Siakam right, Siakam up the middle, VanVleet knocking down shots. Serge Ibaka played well off the bench. Marc Gasol had a huge 3-point play in overtime. Now on the positive side for the Pelicans last night, what you did see was a Pelicans team that really survived without Drew Holiday having his best game. Holiday struggled from behind the 3-point line, 1 for 6. Very good defense by the Raptors on him last night. And even though Brandon Ingram had 22 points, you can see the fact that he is playing for a contract. You can see the aggressiveness, and it's only going to develop more in time. I love the way Jahlil Okafor came off in the fourth quarter in overtime, showing a lot of the offensive presence that, he's known for. They got good shooting from JJ Redick. And one of the things that we're going to see for the Pelicans all year is that there's a lot of Duke guys on this team. There is a lot of Duke Blue Devils on this team. Like I said, without Zion Williamson, you're still looking at Brandon Ingram. You're still looking at JJ Redick. Frank Jackson played some good minutes off the bench. You also had Okafor. There's a lot of Duke Blue Devils on this team. So You can see the rotations going in and out. Gentry is still trying to find where this team is going. And give Lonzo Ball a lot of credit. Ball played really well. He played about 24 minutes last night. He only had 8 points and 5 assists, but you can see that he has the ability to make plays. His jump shot looks a lot better. It's a little bit more flowy and has a little bit more spring to his shot. You can tell that he's been working all summer, and he was actually knocking down shots. JJ Redick was doing what JJ Redick does, but on the opening night of the season, really it was all about the Raptors protecting home court. Now, are the Raptors going to win the Eastern Conference this year? I don't think they will, because I don't think 8-man rotations for the Raptors will work. And the other part is, as we saw at the end of the game last night, the Raptors don't seem to have that closer that Kawhi was. With the game on the line, tied at 117 before going into overtime, it was about a 35-footer by Norman Powell when he was going isolation one-on-one. That's not what the Raptors are looking for. In that situation, it should have been Kyle Lowry or even Van Fleet, because Van Fleet was getting to the rim. So you can tell the Raptors do not have that closer just yet. And once they find one, then they can start talking about that, because Kawhi did allow the closing last year's season for them and the heavy lifting down the stretch. There were moments where Siakam tried to go one-on-one. He's a decent dribbler, a decent ball handler, but he does not have that ability to make that shot or be able to create his own shot. We saw one where he just literally lost the ball because he could not get past his own man. But then the next possession down, he got in the post and was able to do what he needed to do. So the Raptors now 1-0, the Pelicans 0-1. Remember, this is not a Pelicans team that's at full strength. Zion Williamson will be back in a couple of weeks, probably right around Christmas time. And then the Raptors will be, the Pelicans will be the team that we're looking to see, like I said, going forward. But there's still a lot of excitement down in the Bayou. The closing game on TNT last night was the Battle of Los Angeles. And really, this was supposed to be a barometer game to see where the Clippers were going into the season. Now, Paul George is out. One half of their dynamic acquisitions this summer, Paul George for the Clippers, is out due to shoulder surgery, and he'll be back sometime in November, probably miss around the first 10 games. And so he was in a tuxedo last night. Got an interesting ovation from the Clippers fans, kind of a mixed reaction because it was a mixed crowd last night. But the one thing that has not changed is what Kawhi Leonard has done to LeBron James or anybody else in the NBA over the last 24 months. Since 12 months or so, Kawhi Leonard torched the LA Lakers at one point in the second quarter. I think he scored 7 straight baskets on a variety of moves, backdoor cuts, and knocking down shots. Leonard finished the game with 30 points last night. And really, once again, the Clippers do what the Clippers do best. Their bench was phenomenal. Basically, outscoring the Lakers. They were 60-19 last night. There was not much the Lakers can do to stop the Clippers bench. Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, those guys do what they do best, as being one of the best bench units in the entire league. Landry Shamet, everybody on that bench contributed last night, and that's how the Clippers got things done. Yes, Leonard had the 30 points, but Pat Beverly played really, really good defense. And if it wasn't for Danny Green's hot shooting, keeping the Lakers in this game, especially in the third quarter, where I think he had 18 points in the third quarter, this was all Clippers from the beginning. From after this first start where the Lakers were up 13-2, it was all Clippers after that. One thing you will see with the Lakers, and it showed at times, that LeBron James and Anthony Davis have to get it together. It's only one night. There are moments, even Anthony said in the postgame, that they're still looking a little bit off. And even though they had a very, very good preseason, and it's still two of the top 5 players in the league, it's going to take time. What I did like was the fact that the Lakers were getting Danny Green open shots. And the one thing about Danny Green was hitting open shots. Last season, as we saw with Toronto, he was really streaky. But Danny Green looked like the Danny Green that we saw in San Antonio, which was basically a shooter that was knocking down 45% of his three-pointers, and he was getting them all last night. I think he finished with 7 of them from downtown last night. Davis had 25 points, and LeBron James had 18 points, but had 3 critical turnovers in the fourth quarter. Lakers couldn't figure out things down the stretch, and it was really mostly Kawhi Leonard who took over the game down the stretch. Leonard does what Kawhi always does. He finds ways to get to the basket. He does it quietly, and he finished up with 30 points. Landry Shamet had a big game. Lou Williams knocked down shots. Montrezl Harrell had 17 points off the bench. The Clippers are going to be a team that's going to be a team full of guys that can get work done. But this is not really what the Clippers are all about, because guess what? Their other star player and one of the best defenders in the NBA, and Paul George, is out. So I can't wait for the Christmas Day game to actually happen, because once that happens, it's going to be interesting to see how both teams will match up. What you did see was the fact that the Clippers will use a lot of small ball because of the fact that it's hard to guard Anthony Davis. It's almost impossible to guard him down the low block. So you use Kawhi Leonard. You're not going to use Paul George on him. George is about 6'8", 6'9", maybe even 6'10", depending on who you ask, or what the NBA tells you. None of those guys can guard him, and so at least Jermichael Green or Harold to guard Davis on the wings. If Davis is getting to the basket, it's kind of hard, but Davis can also hit the jump shot. So I think once the Lakers can get things settled, you'll see a lot more pick and roll with James and Anthony Davis. But the Clippers take round one. This is not over. Christmas Day is coming right around the corner, and you'll see these two teams again on Christmas. But last night was very entertaining around the league. Like I said, VanVleet had 34 points. He was my star of the night. Everything Fred VanVleet did in the NBA Finals carried over to the season. Last year, the only difference was he was the sixth man. Now, with him being in the starting role for the time being, VanVleet has elevated his game. His shot making ability is even bigger than what it was. Siakam he got Siakam involved, and really what he did was the same thing he did against the Warriors last year. He torched teams from the perimeter, and also because he's such a good shooter from the outside, he was able to get to the rim at ease. It's interesting from a guy that we've seen, if you watch him from the days of Wichita State, when he was much more of a distributor, a pass first guy, becomes such an aggressive scorer. That just shows the fact of he has grown so much since he's been in this league. Now, Wednesday night comes about, and the majority of the teams will be in the action. It's going to be a busy night around the league. With opening nights in a lot of different places. What you're going to see tonight is a lot of the younger guys take hold. And the one player I'm looking to really pay attention to tonight will be R.J. Barrett in New York. He'll make his New York debut tonight. And the guy I have pegged as the rookie of the year is going to be interesting to see how David Fizdale uses him. I expect him to play a lot. Him and Kevin Knox playing together a lot. Still not sure about the point guard situation. And I'm just saying this now. The Knicks aren't a playoff team, but they're going to be interesting to watch. Like I said, you have an outstanding rookie talent in Barrett. I love what they're doing. I love what he's going to turn into. And like I said, this is going to be a night where you see a lot of the rookies get together. And of course, new stars, new faces, new places. You won't see Houston, I think, until Thursday. So you won't see Harden and Russell Westbrook get together until Thursday. But you get to see guys like Kemba Walker make his debut in Boston. You get to see, what some of the changes, Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn, and you get to see where a lot of these star players who have moved teams get into line. So I want to know how you feel about the games last night. I know that it was interesting. I know Lakers fans are still kind of confused about last night, but don't worry about them. I want to know your opinion on your Lakers, the Clippers. I want to know what your thoughts about opening night is. The first set of opening night games. I want you to know your opinions on tonight's games as well too. We'll be back tomorrow morning talking about the entire slate of the NBA in less than 15 minutes. I'm Dane Thompson for AroundTheAssociation.com and the Around the Association podcast. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.